Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat Podcast. Today is episode 136, where we're continuing our series of going through every club in the Premier League and rebuilding their side for the 23-24 season. Today it will be Newcastle United getting that treatment, a club which has seen a massive upturn in fortune, but I think with a few little tweaks here and there, they could definitely become an even better side, which is hard to believe. Obviously, Champions League football last season. A great achievement for Newcastle, right?
Champions League.
Yeah.
St James's Park is going to host Champions League football next year. Massive achievement for the team. I mean, how players like Matt Ritchie are going to be part of a Champions League squad, I do not know. But fair enough to Matt Ritchie.
Do not disrespect Matt Ritchie. Bowler.
I mean, brilliant season compared to the season before where they were down at the bottom, complete role reverse. And obviously, yes, they did get a hefty investment with a lot of money, but money doesn't always work in football. And Eddie Howe's done a brilliant job, and they haven't just gone out and splashed money on big stars. Like people thought they'd go buy Neymar, but they didn't do that.
They might still buy Neymar
That's
this window. He's someone they're linked with. But
they went and bought Isak. And Bruno Guimaraes and Botman.
Yeah, they'd also buy Matt Target.
But he's a capable
He's
back.
Done all right, yeah.
They bought the right players. They performed brilliantly. Alexander Isak, what a season. Guimaraes, again, season. Defensively solid. Nick Pope, Botman, Byrne, all of them, quality.
I'm a big fan of Bruno Guimaraes. I think he's a magnificent player.
On the pitch, they've been magnificent. And obviously off the pitch, they've got quite a lot of money to work with.
They do indeed. Of course, obviously the Saudi backing, they should have a fairly decent sized war chest. FFP could be the only stumbling block, but provided they pump in a few more sponsorships from Saudi Arabia, they'll probably beat the profit loss calculations by quite a distance. But other than that, they should be fairly fine. We'll start then, as we always do with these videos, we're looking at the squad. The first thing to look at really is those contracts expiring. Only 2 players have left the club this summer for Newcastle, but we have a much bigger thing to talk about with 2024. Yeah. As for this summer then, Matty Longstaff and Kieran Clark going. Do you think their presence or their lack of will be missed?
No, not really. 2 or 3 years ago, these players are solid squad players for Newcastle. Yeah. But now they're a Champions
League. A few years ago, Kieran Clark was a great starter.
Yeah, and Matty Longstaff was like the upcoming shining star of Newcastle. But now
more Sean, but Matty's a good player as well.
Now they're a Champions League club. They have to start getting rid of some of the players like this, letting them both go. Not a problem at all.
Where do you see the pair going? We'll start with Matty Longstaff.
League One, maybe.
League One?
Championship.
He easily gets in a championship side. He easily gets in a championship side. Probably not a Leicester, because they've got Harry Winks and Kindred and all players like that. Yeah, I can see it. I think it'll be more mid-table. I can see Matty Longstaff at Coventry.
Norwich.
Or someone like that. Norwich, maybe.
Reading, not Reading, they're rubbish.
Okay. Kieran Clark, then. I could see Kieran Clark making a Prem move. That's probably going to be Championship. I think a Luton or Sheffield United wouldn't be worse off with him in their side.
That's I guess especially just as a squad player who knows the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't start Kieran Clark week in, week out. You won't be
probably
in
not.
trouble.
No, most likely though he'll get a championship move, similar to how
in his day he was a decent relegation centre half, but he's just a bit past it now.
Yeah, similar to how obviously Leicester made that move for Conor Cody. He made the step down. Very differing players because Conor Cody was actually playing in the Premier League last season. I'd expect to see Kieran Clark somewhere in the Championship. Yeah. As for which team, don't know. No. Probably not Sunderland.
It'd be weird seeing him not at Newcastle though.
It will be very weird. On 2024 then, we've got some big names to talk about. First, we'll get rid of those smaller players. The players don't really matter. First of which is Kel Watts. His contract expires next summer. He is a backup left back, centre half. Can play either of those positions. Was on loan at Peterborough this season. Made 11 appearances. Yeah, only 7 of which were in the league. Only 5 of which were starts. So didn't really play. He's not going to be making it at Newcastle anytime soon. For me, just let him leave at the end of his contract.
Not sure they're going to miss him that much.
Or let him leave this summer. Mark Gillespie. I think they'll probably move him on this summer or let him leave at the end of his contract next year.
He's around for what? Isn't he play a game this year?
No, I don't believe so.
I feel like he might have played. No, I think we were saying that if Karius wasn't there and Mark Gillespie starting to carry
Gillespie hasn't made a Premier League appearance at all, ever. but he has played for Newcastle 3 times. So I believe he
Yeah.
may have played in the... Oh, he's never played Championship.
Because
He's
that was
never
the thing,
played
wasn't it?
Championship or
Because
Premier
Newcastle
League.
didn't have any goalkeepers. It was if Carrier, they didn't want to play Carrier, so they have to play Mark Gillespie.
Yeah, he's made 3 FA Cup appearances at his time at Newcastle.
He
Oh, no, sorry,
should-
they were before Newcastle. I don't know when he's played for
He
Newcastle.
should probably leave.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be getting any first team football at Newcastle
no.
anytime soon. So yeah, he has been on the bench twice though for Newcastle this season.
Go on.
Man United in February, the FA Cup final, because
Yeah.
only
That's
Karius
what we're
was
saying, yeah.
legible.
If Carrier wasn't there, it was Mark Gillespie.
So Gillespie was on the bench
line.
there, and for their draw away at Chelsea on the final day. So
Maybe that was a sent that way.
two really crucial appearances there for Mark Gillespie.
Big games
They're
on the
both bench,
Yeah.
but hasn't got on. So yeah, I imagine he'll just leave at the end of his contract. Matt Ritchie,
I mean, big presence. He's been a bit more involved with the squad.
not
than the
literally,
other
he's
two,
quite
but,
small, but
I think they can probably let him go.
yeah.
We're not talking about this season, we're about next season, where they're going to be hoping to be an established Champions League club.
I think they'll be happy to get top 4 again. I don't
Yeah.
think they'll be too worried about being established in the Champions League.
No, I mean, like, if you get top 4 again, you're in there for a second year in a row. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that'll be their goal. I don't think they'll quite reach Champions League football. But maybe if they make enough
I don't
signings.
think Matt Ritchie is a European football player. No offence to him.
No.
But he can definitely still cut it in the Premier League.
Can he?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe he could work as one of Luton's wing backs. I don't think you can still get a fee for Ritchie this summer.
No.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I thought you said you can't.
No, well, why should you know then? Either way, your no doesn't
Yeah,
work.
no, I just think that... how much are you going to get for him?
$1 million, $2 million, probably.
Yeah,
Still a good player.
Suppose.
Up next, Jeff Hendrick. I think in a similar boat.
Yeah.
He is a decent footballer, but ultimately
A few
he's
years
not.
ago, he was alright in the Premier League.
Yeah, doesn't really cut it. But yeah, still a fine footballer. Could definitely do a job in the Championship. Javier Manquillo.
Again, similar boat, really. Never really got onto the scene at Newcastle. He's a bit more a squad player, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's played quite a few times this season. Whenever they've not played Trippier, it's been Manquillo. But Trippier's been stayed fairly fit.
Mate, I don't
But yeah,
really think Manquillo's...
just the 4 appearances from this season, which is a big, obviously, drop, but with Trippier coming in, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, 19 seasons before, 13, 21. He's played a lot for Newcastle over the year, amassing 110 appearances. So, yeah, I think for me, Manquillo will probably move on next summer, this summer maybe. I think the right back is an area you need to address because Trippier's not getting any younger, and you are losing both your backups next summer because Emil Kraft is also going on a free. What do you do with Kraft? Would you re-sign him or would you sell him on?
I thought when he signed a few years ago, I thought he's a real good player, him. He just hasn't played.
What do you reckon the age gap is, by the way, between Emil Kraft and Javier Manquillo?
I'm going to say Kraft is 2 years younger.
Only a year between them.
Only a year?
Yeah. I thought you were going to go much more than 2. It makes the stats seem less impressive. But Emil Kraft is 28. Javier Manquillo only 29. Yeah, I think they'll both move on.
Yeah.
Manquillo still can do a job, but I think he'll probably go to the La Liga.
Yeah.
They could do really well there. Maybe somewhere like Mallorca, you can enjoy a little island. Have a nice time, but also absolutely ball out in La Liga.
Yeah.
And then as for Kraft, don't know, Germany, Bundesliga, he could probably do really well out there. So don't really know where Kraft's been this season. Should we find? I don't think he's had a loan move. No. He's just played. He's made one appearance, which was off the bench. He played 1 solitary minute, and that came against Manchester City in the third game of the season, which they drew 3-3.
Yeah.
That was his one minute of football.
Great.
Really got stuck into that game. So see what rating he got. I didn't quite register one, surprisingly.
He can probably go.
Yeah, probably. Up next then, it is Jamal Lascelles. But before moving on, right back, an area that needs to be addressed. We'll get onto that in improvements. Jamal Lascelles.
I mean, this is a big one in terms of losing his presence and his leadership.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of his footballing ability, Jamal Lascelles does not cut it in the Champions League.
I think they might sell him this summer because there is still some money to be made there. I don't think he's a bad transfer for someone like Luton Town. I don't think he's a bad transfer for Sheffield United, maybe.
I think Norwich, again.
Yeah.
Kind of maybe a team that is looking... The reason I go to Norwich is it's a team that are looking to bounce back. They've had a few rough years. They want to bounce back to the Premier League. Yeah.
You have mentioned Norwich like 8 times this video.
I know.
Forgetting they're not the next one in the series, you know that, right?
Yeah, I do forget that sometimes because I'm so used to it being Liverpool, City, United, Newcastle, Norwich, Southampton.
Now it's Liverpool, Luton.
Yeah.
City. But
United, Newcastle, and then not Norwich.
Enough alphabetical order, but no Norwich.
So Lascelles again, top championship, bottom of the Prem, squad player, decent.
I could see someone like a Bournemouth, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Could be a back up there.
Definitely not Newcastle, though.
No, not in my opinion. But he may well stick around another season because centre half is not an area which they need to address urgently, I don't think. But something they do need to address very urgently is these two players coming up, Fabian Schär and Callum Wilson, both having contracts expire next summer. You've either got to get replacements in now or renegotiate those contracts now.
I have different theories for both of them.
God, here we go.
With Wilson, I think you can fetch a good price, and you already have Isak.
Do you mean
there.
solutions rather than theories?
Yes, solutions.
Okay.
Not theories.
I reckon Schär's an alien. That's my theory. Go on.
Yes, what
are you doing with Schär or Wilson?
No, so I think for Wilson you can fetch a fee, and you already.
He's selling one this summer.
I think you can fetch a fee for him, and you already have Isak covering in that position. So you
That's
don't
your one
to,
striker.
You don't need to go. Yeah, because you can go buy a backup. But what my point is with Schär, I don't think you can get as big of a fee. So I think you give Schär a new contract and you sell on Wilson.
How much do you get for Wilson then?
30-40 mil.
Who's paying 30-40 mil for Wilson?
That's the hard part.
Exactly. You're not getting... That might be what he's worth, but no... Again, 30-40 mil for Wilson is just a bit steep.
Is it?
But,
I think he's a quality.
But who's paying that? Who's got 30-40 mil? Like, unless West Ham. Yeah, West Ham are the only idiots that just...
Wolves.
Wolves don't have 30-40 mil. They're
Ruben
so
Neves has been sold to Saudi.
Yeah, but they've just signed 10 other people from Portugal.
Are they?
Probably.
If Wilson was Portuguese...
100%,
If it was Kalumo Wilsono, they might have sold him.
And they're also selling Kilman to Napoli for 40 mil, so...
They've got the money to go 7 that to
equally, they've got to give all that to their owners who are bankrupt.
Yeah. Who else might sign Wilson?
Maybe Napoli if they sell Osimhen.
Yeah.
That's not happening ever.
Imagine that.
Don't worry, faithful Napoli fans, we're replacing Osimhen with Wilson. Just you wait until we replace Kvaratskhelia with Jacob Murphy.
Yeah. Kieran Clark's replacing Kim.
Yeah.
No, maybe you do give Wilson a new contract then if you can't find a suitor for him, but I honestly think he's a £40 million player.
I don't think anyone's paying 40 mil.
Oh, yeah, but I think that's what he's valued at.
I don't know. I think you're being a bit ambitious there. For me, I'd keep Wilson. I think having the pair of them as a really nice rotation options there, especially with Champions League football. I think Isak will probably start the UCL. Wilson starting in the league.
Yeah.
Loads of minutes to go around this season.
I keep forgetting in the Champions League. Newcastle United in the Champions League.
And then, of course, in terms of Garang Kowal's development, what do you do about him?
Oh, he's Australian.
We'll probably talk about him later once we get to
once
we get into the squad keeper. So he does seem quite good.
Give him minutes.
Either give him minutes because you're going to have cuts, or get him a loan move. Don't think he's 16. No, he is 18.
Oh, he's a bit older.
But yeah, he was on loan at Hearts.
Yeah, get him a different loan move.
Don't send him to Hearts.
Don't give him poor bloke. He spent a year at Hearts.
But yeah, so Wilson, Renew, Schär.
Renew.
Yeah.
He's been mint next to Botman.
He's done well, but he will be 32 by next summer.
Give him a year extension. It depends who you bring in.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, I would phase him out. I'd have him as a backup next season, maybe even this season. Extension. But I would probably extend him now, so you could sell him next summer. Or, you've got to sell him this summer if he doesn't want to extend. Mm-hmm. Because there is some value there. You probably get 8 mil from someone decent.
Yeah.
It's like a Bundesliga club, I don't know.
Swiss club, Young Boys might want
I don't think Young Boys are spending 8 mil on anyone. Do you think Young Boys are 8 mil?
They don't pay 8 mil?
Probably not. I mean, they'd have to pay taxes, which helps, but
yeah.
I don't think they've got 8 million quid.
Probably not.
Anyway, should we do our squad keep or sell then?
Yes,
we'll get into the nitty gritty of it, decide who's going, who's staying, and who we're playing, probably. Up first, not Eddie Howe, it's Martin Dubravka. What do you do with Dubravka? Because he's not really played for Newcastle.
You're 100%
since,
selling.
Well, to be fair, he played a lot last season, but since Nick Pope's joined the club, he went out on loan to Manchester United, where he made 2 appearances, came back to Newcastle, and made 3 appearances. So.
Selling, you're selling.
Yeah.
You've got Gillespie until next year. You've got Karius, as bad as he may be. You've got Pope. And have they still got like Rob Elliott?
Yeah, I think Rob Elliott is still... No, he's not. Well, not on this list he isn't.
Who else they got then?
Carl Darlow.
Yeah, sell Dubravka. because you'll get a bigger fee for Dubravka than you will for Darlow.
Yeah,
no one's buying.
He's 34, but you probably fetch a mil.
Sell him.
Million quid. Yeah. Every mil helps settle FFP.
Yeah, exactly.
Carl Darlow.
I think he's just fine to sit around and enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, he was on loan at Hull last season where he was the bench keeper for Hull. I don't know.
Maybe you let him go again.
Who started for Hull last season?
How long's his contract then? Because he's got to be until at least 2025.
He got benched by Matt Ingram.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not a great sign for
retire.
Harsh on Matt Ingram. He seems to be an alright goalkeeper.
No.
He made
He's all right.
73 saves.
Right.
In 22.
Hull were defenders.
22 shots he faced. No, not 22 shots. 22 games he played. 73 saves.
32 shots, 73.
He wasn't saving things.
Just throw the ball back at himself.
Off the back of the defender.
Maybe let Carl Darlow go then. You don't need 5 goalkeepers anyway. And he's must be on. How long is his contract? Because it must be past 2025.
Yeah, I don't know his contract.
That is mental. Why has Carl Darlow got such a long contract?
He was there forever.
V&A, I think you can afford to let him go.
I'd probably let him
keep Gillespie.
Yeah, Gillespie's a keep for me until the next summer.
Yeah.
Then obviously Nick Pope.
Keep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nick Pope.
You want to sell Nick Pope?
No, I don't want to sell Nick Pope. Just raising the question rather than jumping on because we have got a full podcast. But yeah, Nick Pope. What's he brought to Newcastle this season, which has made him so valuable?
He stopped goals. You look at.
That's what goalkeepers do.
No, I mean like you look at Dubravka last year. He was all right. I think Carl Darlow's played too much. Over a few years, goalkeepers just haven't been very good. Nick Pope proved he deserved that step up a few years ago for me, but he was stuck at Burnley for a bit longer than he probably wanted to be. Yeah. Finally got the move up. How old is he now?
He is only 31.
Only 31. He's in his prime as a keeper.
Yeah, I would be starting to think about a backup because Nick Pope's probably got another 4 years left at the top.
Karius is awful.
But I would look at bringing in a good backup because if Gillespie's fine third choice for the next season, but I wouldn't want Loris Karius as your option if Pope breaks his leg. So, yeah, probably look at backup goalkeeper there. Yeah. Nick Pope for me though, he's been so crucial this season. I mean, his numbers also quite good. Goals conceded 32. Now that comes from expected goals conceded of almost 39. So you can see there his impact on the team. Creeping out shots that maybe shouldn't be kept out by a lot of goalkeepers. Yeah. His tall frame is really helpful. He can obviously claim corners really well, but also something he brings to Newcastle, which perhaps they've not had in the past, is a goalkeeper that's really good with the ball at his feet. Pope's distribution is really good, but also he's capable of passing around the back. Certainly won't put him up there with the Edisons of the world, but he can play with the ball at his feet. Which is, other than against Liverpool, where he just has a clobber people.
I think he's only. I was about to say he's probably made only one error this season. I don't know what he was doing. Right? let's just talk about that mental situation.
Yeah, that was a rogue challenge.
Who went in goal? Dubravka.
And then Karius in the final. Yeah, that went really well. Yeah, they did alright in that game. But yeah, Nick Pope, he's had a good first season at Newcastle. I think he'll continue in the similar vein. Yeah. But I maybe look at that backup goalkeeper then for this season. Not someone noted down, but a quick few sort of options off the dome. Maybe someone like a Georgi Marmadashvili, if he's happy to play as backup, knowing he has those promises of potential first team football in the future. Someone like that could do that job then. But yeah, it's always good. There's always good young goalkeepers out there. Just got to go and find them. Up next then, Loris Karius. Just quickly, by the way, on the topic of good young goalkeepers, what happened to Freddie Woodman? Because I remember him, 5 years ago, everyone was saying he's going to be the next best thing, next big thing, and he's going to be Newcastle's goalkeeper for the next 20 years and stuff. I don't know where he's gone. He is now at Preston. Joined Preston last summer.
Oh, he's really
in the Championship.
His career's really gone down.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying though. What happened there? Everyone was hyping him so much, yet he's now
I've never seen him play for Preston.
Plays for Preston. Oh, he's made a fair few appearances. Loris Karius, then you're not going to get a fee probably. So yeah, maybe let him go on a free if you can find anyone that wants to.
Or just release him and pay him with compensation.
That doesn't seem worth it.
They've probably got the money, and B, I don't know why they signed him in the first place.
Yeah, it was a free transfer at the start of the season, just sort of a third choice option. They'd already let Dubravka go on a loan. They also let Rob Elliott presumably leave and Freddie Woodman, so maybe just need another goalkeeping option.
And as bad as he was, he does know the Premier League.
He does.
He
does
knows how difficult it is.
Not very fondly, but he does know it.
No.
And yeah, he did make one appearance for Newcastle, which is of course the Carabao Cup final.
Yeah.
Which is mental.
That went well.
But yeah, on to defenders then. Dan Burn is the first man on this list. Joined at the start of the season. He has had a very successful start. Joined January 2022.
Yeah.
So he's had a year and a half now.
He's had.
But he's had a good start to life
Out
at
left back.
Newcastle. Yeah. He's adapted to that role quite well. Do you think he's a starter this season? Do you think he's...
Oh, yeah. 100%.
But does he start the season after? I think maybe...
I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Depends how his physical fitness is.
Yeah, obviously he's 31 now, but can definitely do a job. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, how Newcastle develop as well. But if they're trying to go for Champions League and Premier League titles, maybe Dan Burn will start to be phased out. But I think for this season, certainly he will still be in the team. It's just about whether he is still in the team come in a year's time. But for me, he's a really good player. Does his role really well.
Season.
And yeah, I think he's going to be around for a good couple of seasons. But yeah, just question maybe whether he'll be a starting player in seasons to come. Fabian Schär, then we've spoken about a little bit, but yeah, he's a great player.
Yeah,
great player.
Really
He's had a good season, good leader as well from the back. He's formed a great partnership with Sven Botman. So yeah, I think no real complaints. He's just a really reliable defender and did pick up 2 assists in the win against Tottenham. So yeah,
fair enough.
What a creative merchant. Yeah. But yeah, in fact, very high assist numbers for a centre half. It's obviously there's long balls in behind, but 3 assists for a centre half is not very common. Has to be said. But yeah, good player. Up next then, Kieran Trippier joined in the January of 2022, joined the same time as Dan Burn, and well, it was a transfer no one really expected to see. It's someone who was playing for Tottenham and regular for the England national team, was at Atletico Madrid. And this is when we realised Newcastle went business, I think, was when Kieran Trippier joined. What has Trippier brought to Newcastle? What hasn't he brought really, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just done everything. He's even got set pieces in his locker, and he's a leader. He's just got everything you need, and he's homegrown.
Yeah.
He's international. He's got everything, that man.
Yeah.
And as long as you find him a backup, he's a must.
That's going to be my thing. I think, obviously, he is now 32, so I would bring in a backup goalkeeper. He'll be 33 come September, so yeah, he can still do a job for the next couple of seasons, but I would be bringing in a backup right back.
Right.
But yeah, 8 goal contributions this season shows what he brought to the side. Obviously, everyone in FPL loves him because he just generates bonus points all the time. So yeah, he's just a really solid player. Emil Kraft then we've spoken about, let him leave. Jamal Lascelles, similar story. Javier Manquillo, again, similar story. But Paul Dammert is someone who has a longer contract than 2024. So what do you do about him? I imagine it's 2025. I can't imagine he's got years on his deal.
I did not realise he was still employed.
Yeah, he is still employed.
I thought he'd become like a plumber or something.
He has been at the club all season. He made no appearances at all for Newcastle this season across any competitions.
Sell him, probably.
Yeah, I mean...
a wise decision. I'm sure...
no, sorry. He did play one game in the EFL Cup this year where he played 90 minutes, dropped a 6.85 rating.
Yeah, they got knocked out by Sheffield Wednesday in that game.
Did they?
Yes.
Wow. Well done, Paul Dammert. But yeah, he's not done anything, has he? Yeah, if they want him.
Simply because he's Welsh or Swansea.
Or any other Welsh team, Carmarthen, someone like that.
I don't think he's going to Wales.
Cardiff Met Uni.
God.
Swansea Met, whatever they're called. Yeah, anyone like that. Paul Dammert probably not going to be a Newcastle regular in the future. No. We'd probably move him on this summer.
Yeah.
Matt Target.
He's fine, isn't he? He's played second choice.
Yeah. It's weird how he's come in and immediately been second choice. I thought a bit of a weird signing, but Jamal Lascelles, who we're going to get onto in a moment, Jamal Lewis hasn't really adapted well to life at Newcastle. So
injured a lot for
he has had a couple long-term injuries. He picked up a knee injury this June, so a couple weeks ago, and he's expected back late July. So again, probably going to miss the start of the season. Do you think, I don't know, what do you do with Jamal Lewis? Do you think there's any promise left there? Because he's only 25 still.
I think for him and Sargent,
I think you probably... I don't know, I'd probably sell Probably sell Jamal Lewis.
No, I think there's still something there.
I don't know. I think he's obviously still a good player, but Newcastle, if they want to be competing for Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, he's not that player anyway, so it won't develop to be that player. And you're probably going to get more of a profit now than you will in a couple of years' time if he continues to not play. So for me, I'd move on Lewis this season and keep Target as a backup.
Right.
Up next, it is Sven Botman.
What seasons he's had.
He's just exceptional. Just exceptional.
Absolutely mint.
They fought off some of Europe's best to get his signature, and he's just a really, really brilliant player. I think for his age, the maturity he shows is sensational. He's so calm, so composed in possession, very comfortable with the ball at his feet. One of the best young defenders out there, I think, for Newcastle. In Botman, they've secured themselves a centre-half who can lead them for years, really.
Yeah.
So, only 23 years old, and 36 appearances in the Premier League this season. He has been sensational.
Crazy, absolutely crazy.
And I think he'll continue for years to come, as I say. And great player, good pickup.
Very, very good.
And then only Harrison Ashby and Kellan Watts. Already spoken about Kel Watts, probably let him move on. Harrison Ashby, where do you see his future?
Just fine, isn't he?
They signed him in January from West Ham.
Yeah.
So obviously rate him somewhat, but he is already 21. And he doesn't look to be close to that first team, so...
I honestly can't say I've watched him.
Maybe a loan to the Championship, see how he gets on, then maybe you see whether you want to integrate him.
Maybe, if you really believe in him, give him second choice to Trippier, but...
I'd loan him out before you give him second choice in a Champions League campaign, but...
Yeah.
Up next then, into the midfielders, spoke about Jeff Hendrick, but Isaac Hayden is someone who we haven't spoken about. He was on loan at Norwich this season, only made 14 appearances. Injuries really hampered his campaign, and I don't really know
Someone's going to want him.
What you
do
with him.
Someone's going to want him.
Yeah, probably not Norwich, but...
No, that loan, so no.
Someone will want him. And then Joe Linton. He has been magnificent.
Reinvented. Last season,
they started playing him in his position. So
last season I thought he was absolute rubbish.
What?
But this season...
21-22?
Yeah.
I don't think it was that bad in 21-22. It was really the season before, but this season he has come to life in midfield. I think that partnership of him, Willock and Bruno Guimaraes in midfield's worked really well. Obviously, I think there'll be a few more players, but I think Joe Linton is quite likely to stay in that midfield, despite the additions, which is a testament to how well he's done. He is still only 26,
so he's still got
good few years. And I don't think there's much interest from elsewhere. He seems to be someone who I think is quite loyal to Newcastle, so I think he'll be around for the long haul. Good player, good numbers this season. Hopefully he keeps that up. Sean Longstaff.
He wasn't too bad, to be fair.
No, he made 33 appearances, 28 starts this season.
He's an absolutely fine rotation.
Involved regularly. I think, though, if you add some players, maybe you let him leave because there's not going to be loads of space.
Player, fringe player, he's absolutely fine.
And hopefully, obviously, he doesn't get too much separation anxiety when Matty Longstaff leaves, but
I'm sure he'll be alright.
Should be fine.
Yeah.
Unless you let them both go. I feel like they've got to play for the same team.
No, yeah.
So maybe Longstaff leaves as well, and then they both go play together. What?
No, just that doesn't really matter.
Okay. Sorry, Sean. But
Surely fine.
Okay. Keeping him around then. Fair enough. Bruno Guimaraes.
Wow. What a player.
Tie him down.
What a player.
Give him an 8-year contract. Don't ever let him leave because he is
attaching the St James's
Park,
surrounded by thousands of Geordies.
Yeah, obviously played a much deeper role this season. Do you think with the addition of Sandro Tonali he may play a little higher?
No, if anything he'll play Tonali higher.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, maybe. I think Guimaraes' attacking talents haven't really been seen in the Premier League yet because obviously he plays such a deep role. Be interested to see what they do there, but I do think Tonali is the most, probably the best option at the base of the pivot, but either can do that job. And still 9 goal contributions from defensive midfield this season. That's pretty impressive. But all round quite a good first campaign. 10 goals and 57 appearances
for a defensive midfielder
since joining in January 2022. So really good player.
Yeah, what season he had.
Keep him around forever. Joe Willock.
Another one, great season.
Yeah, of course. Joined in August 2021. He was really the first sign, or maybe it was just before the Saudis, wasn't he?
Yeah, just
a couple of weeks before the Saudis took over. But he is a really decent player, and I think he's making good on the promise that he had at Arsenal. And he is only 23. I think it'll be a more than adequate backup. Can cover the wings as well. So that's a nice bit of versatility. For me, Willock is a definite keep.
Yeah.
Up next, new signing Sandro Tonali. Again, most likely to play defensive midfield. He's a great number 6.
This is a cracking signing.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, I
Why
think.
do you rate Sandro Tonali so highly?
It is quality. Just what he does is quality.
What's he do?
It's a big statement from Newcastle to go out and sign him, because it's one of those where you look at him, because he's always been linked with a move. Yeah, because people know there's a step up from AC Milan. Realistically, if you told me a couple of years ago that Tonali's step up was to Newcastle, that is mental.
Yeah,
that is absolutely mental. And I mean, he took Milan to took Milan to the AC semi-finals, to Champions League semi-finals. I mean, brilliant.
Yeah, I think they've overpaid massively. I don't think he's worth anywhere near that 70 million they paid for him. I think he is a good player, but for 70 mil, you can definitely get better, because I think that's the same price that Man United paid for Casemiro, though. Maybe not so bad, because Casemiro's a lot older, of course, but I don't know. I think they overspent, but he is a good player. He will do really well in that defensive midfield role. I think his name helps him a lot. I think he sounds such a luxurious player, like an Andrea Pirlo, like a Claudio Marchisio. Sandro Tonali's just got that suave to it, doesn't it? And I think
How old is he now? 24?
He is only 23. Yeah, 23 years old.
He's got donkey's years left in him, then.
Whatever those are.
He's got another 10 at least.
Not 10 donkeys years.
Yeah.
If they're only like a month, then it's not got long left.
Dead in 10 months. No. Brilliant. I think that's a brilliant deal.
Yeah. He seems to be a really good player. I think it will blossom and develop really well at Newcastle. Up next, Matty Longstaff, of course, we've spoken about leaving the club this summer, leaving his boyhood club. Bit sad, but
what a shame.
Not really good enough anymore. Elliot Anderson.
Baller.
Do you see the talent there? Do you see the promise, the prospect?
Yeah. And I think you can see how much Eddie Howe wants him to succeed. What
do you see as the best course of action for his development?
Keep him around. He's involved in the first team brilliantly this year as a squad player. Do that again this year. Maybe give him more minutes and give Longstaff less minutes.
Yeah, only 398 minutes this season for Elliot. I think maybe you look at a loan move.
Depends.
Championship, you can definitely get a good move.
Though.
Yeah, obviously, but I think there's some. You need to be playing regular football, and for me, he won't get that at Newcastle. He did make 22 appearances, but only 3 of which were starts. He did play a bit more in the league and in the League Cup and the FA Cup, but for me, he should be starting week in, week out men's football. Get him used to that, and then maybe in the future look at him playing for the first team. But for me, he needs a loan move. Up next, Garang Kawal, who is in the forwards.
What a player.
Who I would consider as a forward, but he's in the midfield area. He is a great young striker, isn't he?
Yeah. Get him a good
For
loan
Hearts,
move.
he's played out of position and some other weird stuff, but joined in January, of course. He was at the Central Coast Mariners for the first half of the season, where he did really well, obviously. 9 appearances, 2 goals, 3 assists. Clearly a quality player. At Hearts, he made, some weird amount of appearances. That's because the leagues are all over the place. Yeah. But he only scored 1 goal from 9 games.
That's Hearts, it's fine.
But it wasn't an ideal loan move. Where do you see as an ideal loan move for Kawal?
Championship again.
Yeah, what team?
Oh, any of them, really.
Any
in the top half.
I wouldn't say Leicester, because they've already got Daka, Iheanacho, Vardy. So for me, that's not the right fit. Southampton probably also not. They've got Paul Onuachu, Che Adams, not Carlos Alcaraz. Who am I thinking of? What's his name?
Is it just Carlos?
It might be the same name, actually, which is why it's confusing. The young Argentinian at Southampton. I think it might be Carlos Alcaraz then.
I think it's just Carlos.
Carlos Alcaraz, yeah, that's the same name. It is Carlos Alcaraz. But that probably wouldn't be the right fit. But there's definitely sides that are in need of a striker. Maybe Norwich. I know I've said their name a lot, but they have lost Pookie.
Saying that Cameron Archer's got left alone.
Yeah, could be an option then. But somewhere like that in the Championship for him to blossom.
Yeah.
What do you think of it abroad? Maybe a Ligue 1? I mean, obviously you see how Fuller and Balogun has impressed this season. So is that an option?
Maybe. Again, you've got to get the right team.
Yeah, right, fair enough. Loads of forwards to go through then. Matt Ritchie was spoken about a little bit, But yeah, probably move on. Callum Wilson, definite keep.
Yeah.
Get that contract re-signed. Up next then, Ryan Fraser.
Time to go, Ryan.
Yeah.
Brilliant servant.
Probably not loads of money you can recoup there, but you can get something for him,
How old is
mate.
he now?
A couple million. He is 29.
Only 29.
Yeah.
But I thought he was ancient. Never mind. Still let him go though, he's not good enough.
I mean, yeah, he's not starting Champions League, is he?
No, he's not.
Up next, it is Miguel Almiron.
Baller. His injury really hurt him this year because he came back and just wasn't the same player, but he started the season so well.
I would have questions. I think he did really well in Eddie Howe's system. I think he had a good run of form, but I am worried it is just that. He was just in good form, playing with a lot of confidence. So I would have some reservations. I think if you can sign an upgrade, you do. But he has had a good season. I'm not going to put that down by any stretch. I mean, it was absolutely very, very impressive. 11 goals, 2 assists in 34 games. But you would be stupid to suggest there's not better out there that Newcastle could obtain. So if they could, then Almiron's a sensational backup.
Yeah.
So that would be my ideal there. Similar sort of thing with Alan Saint-Maximin, who I think is a really talented player. So this is harsh, but I don't think he's direct enough with his play. Only 1 goal, 5 assists as well. He's an excellent winger, and he works well in this Howe system, but he doesn't really create enough. He isn't really direct enough. So I don't know.
I feel like
he's a luxury player, isn't he?
When Newcastle 2-3 years ago, we all saw him as a star player because he stood out. But now they've got other talented players alongside him. He doesn't look as good. I
mean, it says a lot when you're playing in the best Newcastle side of the last, forever probably.
Yeah.
When you're playing in the best Newcastle side that there has been while you're there, he's gone from his goal numbers have dropped from 3 in his first season, then 3 in the next season, then 5, suddenly plummeted down to 1. So he has had there's a lot less reliance on him to do stuff this season. It's not they're not feeding the ball to him constantly.
Point in the season, I'd be interested to see him with a full season.
But he still made the same amount of appearances in 2021. Obviously more starts, so more minutes, less minutes this season. But
it'll be intriguing to see what happens to him next year.
It will be. For me, I think there's better players out there. Jacob Murphy.
I think he's an unsung hero.
I think his praises have been sung at times this season. I think he's done well, but I don't know. I don't think he's the ideal backup. I don't think you sell him though. I don't know.
No,
I don't know where you can't.
I think you can't. I mean, that game he played against Tottenham is magnificent. No, it was Tottenham. But
I wouldn't be surprised if Saudi come in for him because they seem to love bang average wingers. But yeah, for me, I don't think he's what they need going forwards. But he has had a really good season, so yeah, shouldn't play that down. Alexander Isak.
I mean, must keep. Yeah. What a season!
It's an obvious one, isn't it?
First, again, another player that had been linked with the club for a few years, never got the move. Bang, Newcastle are here. They've got him. What a first season in the Premier League he has.
Yeah, very impressive.
FPL
very impressive.
Absolutely huge season.
Yeah, really good. And then finally, we have Anthony Gordon, who is currently having a very impressive under-21s Euros with England, of course.
I think it's just such a brain-dead signing.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, it was very random. B, I think he's bang average. How much do they pay for him? 40-50 million?
Something around that mark. I don't think it was quite 50, but yeah.
Why? Don't get me wrong, I do not like Anthony Gordon.
Really? You haven't made that clear?
But I just don't see, in terms of ability level, I don't see what other people see in him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's a good dribbler, a really good dribbler for his age. I think he's maybe not direct enough, doesn't score enough, but he does score goals. He can create chances.
I just think
in the Premier this season, 4 goals, no assists. But you consider he played half the campaign of that, of course, at Everton. So
I don't know. They overpaid because they decided to buy an English player in January. You always got to play extra for that.
For me, his biggest issue seems to be his attitude.
Oh, I hate it.
I mean, I can understand your frustration if you get subbed on and off again in the same game, but he didn't. He shouldn't have reacted like that so publicly.
He just looks like a knob. You look at his face and you go, he just looks like someone you don't want to talk to.
Yeah.
And he's got to change that. He's only 22, so he really needs to sharpen up because he could be a good player.
And he has played impeccably.
He has.
For the U21s.
But he is playing against, 18-year-olds who play in the Israeli, youth
in some
divisions.
games, yeah, but he's also playing against established players.
He is.
But like the Portugal defenders who he scored against and won the game for England, both of those have played top 5 football in Portugal for the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think he's done well in this tournament. If he can take that form over to Newcastle, that'll be useful. But yeah, on to improvements then. The most interesting part of this video where we throw out suggestions and then you tell us we're completely wrong and very stupid. So yeah, get in the comments below, leave your thoughts on all the suggestions we have. I also spoke about Sandro Tonali, so we'll get that one out of the way early. Great signing. We've spoken about him already though, but he is a big £70 million on whatever they end up spending this summer. But yeah, there are some areas we need to address that we will be addressing now. Defensive options. I think in centre-half, obviously they're losing Kieran Clark this summer, potentially losing Shah and Lascelles next summer.
Yeah.
Obviously they can re-sign Fabian Shah, but that does leave them with just Botman and Shah, even if Shah does sign. So definitely...
If you're getting pulled down it.
Yeah, okay, as I said, just Shah and Botman then. So definitely need of some improvements there. Back at right back, we've spoken a bit about how Emil Kraft and Javier Manquillo don't really cut it. Javier Manquillo, not really good enough. So a back up right would be good. Yeah. And obviously someone a bit younger who can go on to replace Trippier in a few seasons. Then some other midfielders. Tonali obviously plays that deep lying role, covers that 6 really well. We'll probably start there. They do play a 3-man midfield, and I do think maybe rotation options need to be a little better. So I have got an option in there potentially if there's a little bit of money left over towards the end of the window. But then in wide areas, I think this is where the big investment's going to come. I think for me, I do have reservations about Miguel Almiron. I do have reservations about St. Maximan. Yeah. I think if you can get some really quality players there, you go ahead and do it.
Alright.
We'll start at the back then with the defensive option I have chosen. I've gone for Edmund Tapsoba. Ooh. Obviously, he is linked with a lot of other clubs, namely Tottenham seem to be the ones he's linked with the most. But yeah, I just think he's a really solid player. His numbers are really good. He profiles very similarly to most top centre-halves in the world right now. Yeah. He's tall, he's athletic, he's great with the ball at his feet. He's just everything you need in a modern centre-half. He's also got some really nice heading numbers as well. So for me, he replicates what Shah does in that role.
Yeah.
So if you look to phase Shah into more of a rotation option, bring in Tapsoba, I think that works really nicely. You still need to address the left centre-half, but maybe that's a job for next summer. You know you've got Bottom for a while. You know you've got Burn who can shuffle across, who is a centre-half by trade. So yeah, I think for me, just the one centre-half then to bring in Tapsoba, you're still going to have Lascelles for another season as well. So centre-halves, I think there would be fine, but one more addition would be good.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the main thing as well, English league, very physical. He's got that. He is a big bloke, and he's not really easy to get past at all. And he's not going to get pushed off the ball by Erling Haaland and that. He's going to put up a fight.
Most people do get shoved off the ball by Haaland.
Well, maybe Tapsoba is a difference.
Maybe he's the one man who Haaland can't beat up. But looking then towards that right back spot, then a couple names. I mean, for me, Malo Augusta would have been the perfect addition.
Yeah.
He's already joined Chelsea, of course. That's a great bit of business from them. But other right backs, then you just want a good young right back, and I think I've picked out a great option with Valentino Livramento. Now, he has had a lot of injury concerns this season. However, I think he's still a really, really good right back. We saw that in his first season at Southampton. He put up some really nice numbers. Yeah. He's a really good attacking fullback. And obviously, came through the Cobham Academy, which just seemed to breed some really talented players. And I just think he's a really good player. So if we look at his season before, 28 appearances, 7.09 rating, 1 goal, 1 assist. That's an incredible campaign for a youngster, and in a Southampton team that weren't great, let's be honest. No. But he was really crucial in ensuring they stayed up. This season was injured, they went down. Coinky Dink, methinks not. I think he'd do a great job as a backup.
I mean, that injury proneness is fine in a rotation fullback.
Yeah, obviously if he's looking to be a long-term fullback, you'd hope he doesn't. Maybe fair, it's not really injury proneness. He's had one bad injury.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And if you nurse him back to full health with a rotation role for a year or two, he can then come straight
insane
in
to think he's only 20.
So
again,
he's got
another
10, even 15 years.
Decade and a half
at the top of the game.
Yeah, crazy to think he'd still be playing in 2038, but he is a very young player. So for me, again, you could probably get him for around that £25 million mark, £30 million mark. That's a bargain for me. I think he's a really talented player. So yeah, Tino Livramento, my suggestion as a backup right back. Then in midfield, I think harsh on Sean Longstaff because he's done well this season, but just to bring in someone else, someone that can change the game, someone that brings something that midfield doesn't have, bit of energy.
Yeah.
Conor Gallagher. I think he's most likely to go to Borussia Dortmund. That seems to make a lot of sense on paper for me. But Newcastle makes a lot of sense.
It does, and it makes sense for Newcastle, it makes sense for Gallagher, it makes sense for Chelsea. And the reason it makes sense for Newcastle is the same reason why United have bought Mount and Arsenal bought Havertz. These are players that at Chelsea have had a terrible season, but they are very, very good players on their day, and in the right team, with the right system, and if they can get in a run of form, they are magnificent players. They're world class. Havertz has scored a goal in the Champions League final. Conor Gallagher, look at his season at Crystal Palace. He was absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, I think for me, he covers exactly what Joe Linton does.
Yeah.
That making the runs into the box, arriving late, scoring goals, but also being a bit of creator, being very much involved with the build-up, bringing that ball forward when need be. I think he can do all that quite well. It's
about having those like-for-like replacements, because you look at last year, when they took Joe Linton or Bruno Guimaraes out, they missed what they bought. If you've got like-for-like replacements, you can take out Guimaraes, put in Tonali, you won't notice the difference.
Obviously, there is something to be said for having players that can be different, because you do want different things from different players. But Conor Gallagher can do what Joe Linton does, but also offers different things, like lots of energy.
He can also run around like a rabid dog and just kick people and not actually offer anything.
He can do that. But if you're buying him now, probably around £30 million. That seems to be what Chelsea want. Yeah. If you wait a couple of weeks, they may start to get desperate and you look towards the 25, 20-ish million. So, I think there's definitely a deal to be had there.
Yeah.
Up next, two wingers then, one on the right, one on the left. The first one on the right, Federico Chiesa. This is an ambitious one, but they've shown that Newcastle are willing to go out in the market, slap their bollocks on the table, slap their money on the table, and get what they want. They spent 70 million on Sandro Tonali in sync. 70 million on Sandro Tonali. I think Chiesa will probably be cheaper, because he has had a bit of an injury record, and Juve have no money.
Take whatever money
they will probably,
so and as long as it's legal.
Any legal tender, Juve are buzzing. So for me, you can probably get him around that £60 million mark.
Oh, that's still steep.
It's steep, but he's a magical player. He is so underrated, I think, because he plays for a Juve side that aren't very good, and he's been injured this year.
Yeah.
But he can cut inside on that left foot. He can go the other way. He can go onto his right, cut it back. He is so two-dimensional, an excellent footballer, a great finisher, and he has an aura about him.
He does.
He does have that aura, doesn't he? So, I think for me, if Newcastle want to take their side to the next level, Chiesa's that sort of signing.
Yeah. Definitely.
Someone else I think is of a similar ilk, Emil Smith-Rowe.
Oh,
he's not getting the minutes and the plaudits he deserves at Arsenal. He's not going to get in over Trossard. He's not getting in that side over Martinelli. I think if you put a 35 million, 40 million pound bid,
absolutely do it.
Arsenal will start to question it, because then they can use that money to improve. Because they are signing Timber, they are signing Rice, they are signing Havertz. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
But that is 230 million there. And I know their FFP is really good, because Kroenke didn't spend anything for years before that. But they would like to recoup a little bit of that. If they can move on Smith Rowe for a decent price, I think they do it. 30 million, 40 million, something like that. For me, it's a great bit of business. He can cut inside, strike on that right foot. Yeah. He's also a good chance creator. So, just a really talented footballer, and you're signing from a direct rival.
Yeah.
A good young player. Brilliant. And English as well, fulfills that quota, which could start to become a problem if you're losing players like Gillespie. So, I think he just makes sense overall. But so that would be, if you sign Tapsoba, Livramento, Conor Gallagher, Chiesa and Smith Rowe, adding that to the Tonali 70 million already, that does come to 255 million.
That's fine.
But money is no object for Newcastle. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. They can offset that by selling Jacob Murphy to Al Ahly for 70 million for some reason. And then stick Saudi Airlines on the front of their shirt for $1 billion, and then they'll be fine. There we go. Wow, they've made a great profit this year somehow. But so I think that is definitely feasible. But please do leave your comments in the comment section down below. Before we get into the outro and all that sort of stuff, predictions.
I don't think it. Sorry to not to annoy
to someone we don't know who.
To annoy any Geordie fans, but I don't think it's really as good.
Why is this like a YouTube apology video?
No, well, yeah, because they might cast me. That's what's
Are you doing the apology video before you need to apologise?
Yeah. I don't think it'll be as good as it was last year.
No.
I think they will be in a because I think it's going to be a titanic scrap for the European spots outside the top 4.
Yeah.
I think it'll be close whether they get Europe or not.
What? Whether they get Europe or not?
Yeah.
I was going to say it's going to be close whether they get the title. No. I think they'll be in the hunt for Champions League football
I'm
again.
saying Europa League.
I think they'll be 5th, at least.
I just think there's going to be so many good teams next year.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Because I don't know whether Chelsea will be right up there from the off. I think they'll take time to get going. Poch needs a season. I think the same for Postecoglou. He'll need a season.
Oh, no, I didn't count on them.
Okay. I don't think, as much as you seem to believe Aston Villa are like the best football team ever, I don't think they touch Newcastle over a season.
I don't.
The same applies.
I don't think the greatest team ever. I just think Emery had half a season and got to 8th.
Okay.
Steven Gerrard about half a year.
Yeah.
Put Steven Gerrard in that Newcastle seat. See what happens.
But Tuchel came in and won the Champions League with Chelsea, and then they didn't do anything next season. So I still have reservations about Emery.
That's different. That's big.
How is that any different?
Because Tuchel won a Champions League, Emery got 8.
Yeah. So Tuchel dropped a little bit. Emery could drop a little bit. He'd be outside the top 10.
They're 2 very different competitions, 2 very different teams, 2 very different managers. That is a silly comparison.
Same situation. Exact same situation. Came in halfway point as miracle savers.
One
for
similarity.
Bang average ex-Premier League England midfielders. No, sorry.
Bang
average managers.
I
was not calling Frank Lampard or Steven Gerrard.
Well, Frank won't call him Frank Lampard bang average.
That's bang average midfielders. No, bang average managers is a minefield. Bang average managers are sensational players. Yeah. Anyway, that is, I think they'll be 5th, 4th, 5th, something like that. Just outside the Champions League spots or just
They'll
inside.
get Europe anyway.
They will have some sort of Europe. Or they'll win the Champions League.
No.
Where do you see them being in the Champions League?
Groups.
Oh, they'll get grouped.
Yeah.
So Europa League then?
Yeah. Oh, and they can win that. I didn't think like that. Fair enough. What turns do they get their group?
I was going to say, we can't really judge, but I think
Plzeň, Zagreb.
they're going to get through. They can't get Plzeň and Zagreb. Presumably they'll both. Okay. They'll all be in the bottom seed with Newcastle.
Oh yeah. Let's finish.
Okay. That is everything for today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. It would massively help us out. The subscribe's been really healthy recently, so if we could keep that up, that would be impeccable. We're aiming for 2.5k subs this year. We're only 951 away from that at the time of recording. So keep smashing that subscribe button until your phone is broken into 100.
You can't watch us, so do it until it's nearly broken.
Yeah, just so you can still click on the videos. But yeah, that is everything for today. Of course, as always, leave your suggestions and feedback in the comments down below. If you're listening on Spotify, then feel free to head on to any of our socials, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, if you want to. We have set up a Threads, underscore the football chat underscore if you want to check us out on there. But yeah, any socials if you want to leave your feedback for the audio listeners. But yeah, that is everything for today. Thank you very much for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.